So today is first full day after the Gypc event. We had a fun day for the southeastern jurisdiction. So I've had some time to really reflect because otherwise we've had like 13 to 15 hour days every day and you haven't had much time to process. So I think kind of my main reflection is just how beautiful yet complex the global United Methodist Church is. To see the worship and to see people praising God in their own languages, and to think that there are United Methodist churches outside of the United States. And even though I knew that, to see it come into play from Germany to Russia to Nigeria to Denmark to South Africa, it's pretty incredible to think and to see the bishops and some district superintendents and lay speakers come and preach and give us a word. And it's really amazing to see that worship aspect and that camaraderie aspect, but at the same time, when we were debating in legislative session, to see how much more complex that is when you're talking about other countries and cultures and contexts and how the world is so different, but yet we're all connected. We have some same things to kind of adhere by. So a lot of times we would get hung up on a word or a translation or an idea that might mean one thing in one context, in another context or country, and kind of missing maybe the greater point. And so that would get frustrating. And then just thinking about, how we've been wrestling with sexuality and what that means for our global church, it just continues to remind me how complex this issue is, because it's so different whether you're talking about the United States or another country or another region, and what that means for different people and the implications of that. And so it just reminds me how, because of our connection, which is so great, how much more complicated things can get when we're making big changes and having tough questions in the church. So even though some of those really beautiful things came out of this week, it also reminded me how much harder all of this is and might be if we do have a change in the church. And I think it's even more complex for maybe the average United Methodist who hasn't seen the global church in action. They think, why can't we do X or Y? When you see the church come together, it just kind of makes things more real. You're talking about Methodists all over the world, and what does that mean for us? And what would it mean if we lost that connection? Or how do we keep that connection even though we might have some differences, because we have more in common than we do differences. From our phrase, united we go, and it was very evident that the young people felt called to continue to remain united together.